Billy and I believe that Inga was indeed channeled, and we laid it out pretty strongly in the last episode.
How do we prove it?
However, we need to prove it, but we don't know how. So, on the one hand, we believe firmly that that is the case, and that it was Queen Amara or Nayna that did it, even if they're not the same person, that it was Amara or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know how to prove it, so we're so confused.
Speaking of being confused, we're the Bittersweet Gamers.
I guess I asked for that one. I'm the opinionator.
And I'm We Squared.
All right, Trial. Let's see if we can't figure out how to advance you. But don't worry, we'll be fine.
Like 7 out of 10.
C+.
Yeah.
If we're right, then there must be some sort of proof to back us up. Time to do some serious thinking, Apollo Justice, Daymon, Billy. Okay, we know that when Rafa saw her father, he wasn't dressed like Miss Faye, right? Hey, didn't we have this discussion in the last episode?
That would be something that you would think one would notice.
We did specifically have this discussion in the last episode.
Right, because if he was, Rafa would have immediately known he was being channeled.
So that means he was dressed in his usual suit when Rafa saw him.
Yeah, because if he was channeled inside his house, they could have put on his clothing, run to the temple, and
they would have
burn it in the incense burner. And that's why there's a button there covered in soot. That just occurred to me while we were talking about it.
There we go. That actually fits the motive of why you would, because you would have had to dress up before channeling him, so that makes sense. And we couldn't see Inga's body. We couldn't roll it over.
Right.
So we couldn't see if it was missing one, because we were worried about that last time. Like, what does this being here mean?
Aha! Good thinking, Apollo. This might be the perfect angle to attack from. All right, let's have an answer from the defense. What proof do you have that Miss Maya Fey channeled Justice Minister Inga?
I mean, if we could just roll him over, we'd be able to tell immediately, but other than that, this is the only thing we can think of.
Is that a gemstone?
We found this among the ashes of one of the tomb's incense burners and really had no idea why it was there. It wasn't shot, and if there was a struggle, I don't see how it would have flown off his jacket, but I mean, not like anybody rolled him over to check his clothes. Does this gemstone ring any bells, Your Eminence? What? What was that doing in the tomb? Ah. So you do recognize it. But then, as his wife, how could you not recognize this gemstone button from your husband's jacket?
It'd be pretty weird if she didn't.
Huh? Oh, wow, I'm the one who said you probably had something, and Nick would have bluffed, but I don't really get where you're going with this, and I guess not that long ago you didn't either. Channeling Minister Inga alone wouldn't be enough to fool someone like Princess Rafa.
Yeah!
You'd have to dress up, and conveniently...
You were in his house!
Especially if he were wearing your clothes.
That would stand out pretty big.
So you would have had to change into the minister's clothes before channeling him. Why are you still accusing me, though? Miss Faye, you used the minister's clothes as cover while going from his room to the tomb, where you burned them once you no longer needed them. What?
Uh-oh. She seems genuinely surprised by that, Apollo.
That's why I said in the last episode, there's 3, not 2, 3, not 2 people who meet the qualification.
2 p.m., not 3 p.m.?
3 p.m., not 2 p.m.
Oh, sorry.
But 3 people, not 2 people. Wait, did I say that right? Well, anyway, there's another person who fits the requirements for being able to channel Inga and knowing about prosopagnosia. Miss Faye, Yes? Do you know my husband's name?
You mean your incredibly famous, well-known husband?
To Maya? Why would she know his full name?
Well, she has been in Khura'in. Oh,
That's the point.
I see.
That's
I
what she's
see.
getting at. It was, Inga Khura'in, right? Well, that is his name. That is correct in part. But there's more. Much more. I guess Inga was just a bundle of secrets. Like, nobody knew anything about him at all. I mean, like you said, Inga Khura'in is his name, and that's what somebody like her would know. But
I guess there was more to it than that.
much more.
Oh,
Weren't
thank
you
you.
paying attention? Okay. Inga Karkul Hakod disname Biani Lago or Mo Pop is something to. Oh my God! I didn't name him though. Ryan the Third. That is his true name. The name you would need to use to channel him.
Good lord!
Making Garan that much more suspicious, but mainly making Nayna Amara suspicious. How could this name be any longer or more pompous? Darn it! What's that next one after darn it?
Ardills?
Anyway, we got the most important part. How could this name be Anilago or more pompous? Darn it already.
That is an amazing name.
The people, the Khura'inese people are evil. They are evil and terrible because they specifically look at other languages in order to come up with their own terrible names and then force them on their children, just waiting for foreigners to come up and screw with them.
Alvy, what's your full name?
Well, he's not a royal, see?
Fair point.
Oh my God. How could this name be any longer or more pompous already? Darn it. Due to its length, and quite frankly, stupidity, only a portion of it was ever made public. But you are not to blame for your own name. Only the names of your children. So, Miss Faye, did you know his true name? No. I mean, how could I?
Kind of impressive that Rafa remembers all that.
I already have it memorized.
I don't. I'm bad
How
with names.
could this name be any loga or mo pompous than it
already is.
Something like that.
No, then it already is.
Then it already is. Okay, that's it. Although I like cursing with it instead. Precisely. So I don't know what on earth that gemstone is doing there, but just like all the other evidence you had changing the time, it's all irrelevant, so forget about it. Yet a medium must know both the face and true name of the one she seeks to channel. Oh, I thought we had something really good there too. So then, Miss Faye couldn't have channeled Minister Inga?
That appears to be the crux of it, yes.
How many times do I have to tell you, Hornet?
Maya, no.
Why would I want to randomly channel some old guy I didn't know and didn't like, thanks to that last trial? I can't believe this.
We're still on the right track. We're just accusing the wrong person.
Of course we're accusing Maya.
Apollo. I really don't think Maya's lying.
Are you sure, Mr. Right? Maybe if we push her some more.
However, your line of reasoning still seems credible to me.
I agree, but there's something tripping us up in the details. Garan has an alibi and Maya doesn't meet the qualifications, so who could have done it? It's like there has to be an additional person or something. Maybe we're working off of some wrong assumption again. Maybe. Apollo, I was thinking. Yeah? Since I didn't channel Minister Inga, is it possible that someone else did? Someone else?
This is kind of painful to watch.
Really? But who else could it have been? I haven't thought that far yet, and I don't know. Such chatter is without merit. Let us move on, shall we? No one could have channeled him, and the time was 3 p.m. Therefore... I don't care what Khura'in says. I'm going to figure this out. I have to be right about this. If it wasn't Miss Faye and the Queen has an alibi, then...
Apollo, forget about who is capable of channeling spirits for a second.
Well, we've got that part dealt with too, but... I should consider the circumstances around the channeling, right? Like, maybe it was the person who just ran into the house without a hat. I mean, if you're gonna find Inga's clothes somewhere, maybe the house would be a great place to start.
No!
And if Rafa watched Nayna have her hat stolen and run into Inga's house, and then Inga comes out of that house, where'd Nayna go? Because, Nayna wasn't in that house.
No, your logic is totally off, man. Right. We know Rafa...
they're going into what I just said!
We know Rafa saw her father come running out of his private quarters. If he was being channeled at the time, who could it have been?
It was Shadow.
Ah, you're right.
It had to have been, just like Daymon angrily said with a smirk on his face dismissive of me, someone who was in Inga's private quarters. Well, I'm waiting, Defense. And you know how much I despise waiting. Yeah, but there is someone else besides Miss Faye who could have channeled Minister Inga. There is just one more person, and they were in Inga's private quarters. That person is our only hope now.
The person we've been trying to pull to the stand.
And the person that we got Maya in lieu of.
Yeah.
So, the defense believes there was another. Let's have your very serious answer then. And you'd better get it right,
oh,
because
God.
if you don't... With pleasure. I've been listening to BSG this whole time, and they have this part figured out. Horned Devil?
Yes, Spider Devil?
Who could have channeled Minister Inga? And you'd better not say me!
It's the only person it could have been.
Take that!
Nayna, you can't be serious. Your Eminence said it yourself. That's right. Nayna never did go into the tomb that day. Instead, she entered my husband's private quarters. How do you know? It's quite simple. Shoe prints were discovered in Inga's private quarters. Shoe prints that belonged to Nayna. And then there's her benevolence's statement. We don't have anything to add. We saw this coming. We just needed the proof was all.
Yeah, we just you had to get to it.
She said that Nayna disappeared right after she innistered Mr. Inger's...
Are you okay, Apollo?
It's foaming at the mouth. It must be the sheer hatred coming from Miss Faye. Anyway, the room from which Minister Inga himself came running out of not long afterwards. You are not seriously suggesting you should not know these things.
But we do!
It's the only thing that makes sense. I noticed you haven't denied that it's possible yet.
So about getting Nayna to the stand, huh?
Naina channeled Minister Inga and left his private quarters thereafter. That's why no one has seen her since. Because she's in the sarcophagus with 3 bullets lodged in her. And why only the minister's shoe prints were found outside his residence. No, that can't be possible. She can't have 3 bullets lodged in her. I don't know why it never occurred to me in the first place. Oh my god, no way! She can't have shot herself. Well,
I mean, she could have, but I see what you're saying.
Well, in any case, she's in the sarcophagus. That part has to be true.
That's gotta be it. Nayna must have somehow channeled the minister. We haven't quite put 2 and 2 together yet.
Oh, you just wait. I'll come up with some way to, well, maybe not deny it, but... all of the circumstantial evidence has fallen into place. You can't ignore it anymore. Circumstantial evidence does not carry that much weight in a court of law, but it doesn't carry no weight in a court of law either. The preponderance of circumstantial evidence can be used to prove things.
Yeah.
You can't claim Naina isn't connected to this case somehow, and if you can, you better show it right now. In light of this, the defense calls Naina to the stand, wherever she is.
Well, Your Eminence?
Very well, then. I still have not denied the possibility. Let us call Naina to testify.
I mean, if you could present something that's feasible, then it has to be addressed, right?
Well, unless they can come up with a good reason not to. Yes! Now we can finally crack this case wide open.
Let us adjourn while the witness is summoned.
I mean, I'm not a lawyer, nor am I a Phoenix Wright lawyer, so... there is no need. Naina is in the waiting lobby.
What?
Oh, good! I was worried she was dead!
That's true.
So who's in the sarcophagus?
Maybe Nayna was in the sarcophagus and they just got her later. I don't know.
What? Naina's here? I thought she'd gone missing. That's why everybody thought she was in a sarcophagus.
Not now, David.
It seems she was feeling unwell and simply wished to rest undisturbed. But her concern for Rafa brought her here today.
And because you're an evil woman, you did not allow her to come in and help Rafa, or even mention that she was okay to your daughter.
Why should I need to mention these things to my daughter, and what does she have to do with a legal proceeding, unlike me, the queen and the person prosecuting this case, or the high priestess in charge of the divination seance? She's just a servant, Billy.
Just a servant?
She took time off without Rafa's knowledge or consent, almost as if she has a mysteriously high position?
No. I'm betting there's more to her disappearing act than meets the eye, Apollo. Especially if she's capable of channeling.
Yes, she didn't age very well, but there's no reason to believe that this is not necessarily an act, you know?
Yeah.
That is some pretty excellent hair.
Miss Nayna, do you understand why you have been summoned here today?
Do you, Your Honor, Majesty, Judgeness?
Yes, of course.
I understand how old she looks, but how can she not be Amara? The only way she can channel spirits is if she's Amara or Amara's mother?
Oh, I suppose we never considered that angle. But I think she's Amara. She's got to be Amara. Her Eminence has informed me that this man here suspects I have committed a crime.
So, this is Naina. That's quite the hairdo, I say with my 2 horns.
Though I will say... I suppose I'm not as old as I had thought.
Oh, yeah?
If this horn-headed nincompoop would take me for a criminal, you wonder where Rafa gets it. do you? I love the sass.
So I knew it was gonna come like that. If we're right, then this is the previous queen. And if we're wrong, then this
She would
is...
have to be related somehow.
Yeah.
Like a sister or something.
It would just be interesting if like the women are sassy and rough. That's
Yeah.
good for Garan anyway. But whereas the men are more like soft isn't quite what I'm looking for.
I think I know what
But,
you're trying to say.
You look at Dirk, who's a surprisingly nice guy, and then you look at Inga, who's an awful bastard.
but apparently a great father.
But bossy, he just rolls over to bossy women, but in a way that they tend to like. Nincompoop!
Heavens to Betsy.
So that's where she got it.
Isn't that Rafa's favorite insult? I guess Nayna rubbed off on her, what with all the time they spend together. And her totally not being her mother.
And her totally not being her mother. This looks like it's about 14 years ago, sure, but Ace Attorney, look at Garan. Can people not disguise themselves?
That's true.
Different eye color.
You there, young hornhead.
Well, now that we finally have her on the stand, now I'm starting to doubt myself and wondering if she's Amara's mother. Yes, ma'am.
You're accusing me of slaying Minister Inga and channeling his spirit. Is that right?
No, actually, I'm only accusing you of channeling his spirit. But I guess Apollo is going to be accusing her of slaying
I
him.
suppose ultimately, yes. What an active imagination you have. Young folk are so wonderfully open-minded. Whippersnapper?
Thanks! Just take the compliment, Justice. You have a lot of fights to go. This one isn't the one you need to have.
Now then, will the witness please proceed with her testimony? This court wishes to know if you did or did not channel Minister Inga in his private court.
I bet this is going to be very simple. No, I can't channel spirits. And that's the testimony.
Yeah, that's the only one.
If she did that, we wouldn't be able to refute it, would we?
You're right.
But
I'm no spirit medium, Sonny.
But that's why lawyers tell their clients, shut up! Just don't say anything. It doesn't matter how much abuse you get. Just shut up!
I was feeling under the weather yesterday and decided to rest these weary bones. Oh, I'm so old.
I love that
Besides
look on her
which-
face. I love that look on her face.
Besides which, a lowly servant such as I could not possibly be an honorable spirit medium. Only members of the royal family can learn the art of spirit channeling here in Khura'in. After Queen Amara's passing, Her Eminence, Queen Garan is the only spirit medium left.
Did you have something in your throat there?
No. If you believe a medium to be the culprit, it would have to be that young lass, Maya Fey. If I am Amara, why am I being so defiant?
You know, I said that about eye color, and it made me think. Rafa's got green eyes. Garan's got green eyes. Nayuna's got green eyes. Now, Dirk and Inga is a different story, but...
You can't quite see their eye color very well.
Well, it looks like it's brown. Hazel at best. But to be fair, Nayna's are brown, but I can change my eye color with contacts.
That's true.
And there you have it. It seems we have summoned her, just like Miss Fey, for nothing. Only those of the royal bloodline have the power of spirit channeling. That a servant such as Naina could channel spirits is a most unamusing jest. On the surface, anyway, but not everybody has to be telling the truth.
That's true.
Our line of reasoning has led us to this end, that Naina channeled Inga's spirit. So,
All right, the defense may now question the witness.
I noticed that you're awfully tame right now, Your Majesty.
I'm curious to see where this is going.
Maybe he's on pins and needles because of Khura'in.
I was feeling under the weather yesterday and decided to rest these weary bones.
Albie's dog stole your hat when you were in the courtyard yesterday afternoon. Was it after that you decided to take a rest?
I had been feeling unwell all day and had pushed myself too hard.
You are so smarmy, you have to be related to Nayna.
I kept feeling weak and dizzy, and that dirty mongrel only served to worsen my poor condition. Do you have any idea how long it takes to stuff all this hair into that hat?
While I sympathize with you, Nayna, you took the whole day off without informing Princess Rafa.
Well, it's not like I'm a slave or something.
She was very worried about you, you know.
How very kind of her benevolence.
She was in tears, you know.
But she need not concern herself with the welfare of a mere servant such as I.
I want to take your cane and hit you with it.
Except to Rafa. Nayna's not just a mere servant. To even think a mere commoner could channel spirits or slay a minister. What hogwash! Besides which, a lowly servant such as I could not possibly be an honorable spirit medium.
I hear you're the head servant, isn't that right?
Are you suggesting that my position affords me the ability to channel spirits?
Well, maybe it does. Maybe that's where old queens go to die?
Huh.
Since you're the head servant to a family of channelers, I'd say it's conceivable. If you wanted to, it's not impossible for you to learn through exposure.
I don't think it's that simple.
Well, that's why you'd have to really want it.
I think not. For that goes against the very underpinnings of the kingdom of Khura'in.
To become a spirit medium requires a noble spirit and rigorous training. But most importantly, one must be a direct descendant of the founder, Miss Faye. It is not simply some hobby one can take up in the manner of knitting or gardening. Well, I mean, that's how the Fays are able to do it.
Right.
So commoners could never become a medium, no matter how hard they tried?
That is common knowledge to all who are born and raised here, young hornhead.
You know, that only makes you look more suspicious, right?
No.
You can't just say no!
Yes, I can. I'm old.
Yeah.
Only members of the royal family can learn the art of spirit channeling here in Khura'in.
Okay, then. What if you actually have royal blood in your veins, then, Nayna? Like a distant relative or summit.
I'm from a line of humble fishermen, all the way back to my grandfather's grandfather. I've never heard talk of royal blood or noble ancestry. Apollo, if spirit channeling is a secret art passed down from mother to daughter, then even with a royal ancestor, it'd be impossible to learn without the right training.
It is as the barbed one says. It also must be mentioned that the secret art is only taught here in the kingdom of Khura'in, and your country's Khura'in village. I can laugh all I want, but...
You know, something just occurred to me, Daymon. Let's just take a look at the queen's hairdo.
What do you want?
Yeah.
How much more do we need to... How much further do we need to go?
We don't. I just wanted to point that out.
If Nayna's not Amara, then it's Amara's mother. Why aren't things falling into place like I expected? It's like I'm being lied to.
Why do you ever expect them to fall into place, Apollo?
Good point, Mr. Wright.
I would ask the witness to continue her testimony.
What's up with you, tame judge? I'm really suspicious.
After Queen Amara's passing, Her Eminence, Queen Khura'in, is the only spirit medium left.
Hold it!
Queen Amara was the victim of an assassination, right?
Yes, right. Yes! Oh, she was a beautiful, gentle, compassionate, well-to-do woman.
Not only
everyone loved.
Not only a beautiful woman, but a powerful one as well.
Very humble. But she fell in love with a man of dubious origins and was murdered in a terrible blaze. Fate can be so cruel.
Yeah, except she's actually still alive.
Oh, I know. Poor Nayna's yet another follower unwittingly praying over an empty sarcophagus.
Amara. The queen who's been locked away, and her existence in this world erased. But the fact that she is still alive shackles Naina to Khura'in's will.
And isn't it interesting how Dirk was saying that Amara didn't seem to have any memories of him?
And he ran away when we got really interested in finding Naina, like he didn't want to see her.
Right.
Naina, the only reason you're still standing there by that woman's side is because you're afraid of what would happen to Amara otherwise, right? We need not recount such ancient history that every person in Khura'in knows. Let us continue with the witness's testimony. You know, most of the time, Khura'in is actually not so awful as a prosecutor. She does all this terrible conflict of interest stuff, rewrites the law, but she's remarkably open to letting a lot of things that are pretty disadvantageous to her position go. I get that she's trying to utterly discredit the defense, of course.
She's really confident that she's rigged everything the right way.
She's actually just letting us putting up with all these weird requests to get Naina, to get Maya, and is more likely to just sort of sit back and confirm details instead of be more aggressive and kind of smack people around.
I think considering the nature of the revolution outside the courthouse, she kind of has to play like this.
Maybe, maybe not. But it's like you look at her and you think we're about to be prosecuted by Satan, but then it turns out that she's much less bad than having Manfred von Karma, or heck, Franziska von Karma, or Simon Blackquill on the other side. They're way more aggressive, and certainly Godot, but Godot didn't really prosecute you. The thing about Godot is some people spend their entire lives waiting for him to appear.
Thank you for taking the easy one.
Well, he just wasn't very prosecutor-y. Awesome? Yes. Prosecutor-y? Not really. Okay, that's like the last time I'm gonna compliment Khura'in by complimenting her even temper. Expect everything else to be beating her with Nayna's stick.
If you believe a medium to be the culprit, it would have to be that young lass, Maya Fey.
Why does everyone accuse me of murder?
There, sweetie. I'm just saying what he's thinking.
Miss Fey was being held hostage. He was completely tied up. Didn't even know Minister Inga's true name.
Weren't you just saying the opposite not 5 minutes ago?
But it was proven that I was wrong.
Oh, you putrid-minded lawyer.
Making it impossible for her to kill or channel him.
Bah, I know nothing of that, right?
Objection!
Listen, you horned devil, you beater of elderly women! Were you not just insisting that it was Maya Fey who had channeled Minister Inga? My, how quickly you change your tune! No, I'm just quick on my feet when new information presents itself. Was it not you who just proved to me that you were right and I was wrong? What am I supposed to do? Not accept your wisdom?
Well, you got a point there.
I'm also quick to force my biggest smile when times like these demand it. My fragile ego will be destroyed later, but now is not the time for this.
It's great that you're following my advice, Apollo. But try not to look so forced when you do, would you? Nayna is right about one thing, though. Only those of the royal bloodline can be spirit mediums in Khura'in.
Oh, I guess that's another way to look at it.
How many other people have come from outside of Khura'in and gotten big, important positions?
Well, not channeling spirits.
Well, that's not okay.
If Maya doesn't know her, then she doesn't come from Khura'in
That's
either.
a fair point. Common folk like us are out of luck.
Therefore, yeah, I guess so. Still, I think I'll finally be close to connecting all the dots once I point one very big thing out. That being that Amara is alive.
Yeah,
That has got to be the thing, right?
it has to be.
How do we prove it?
Wait,
I mean, it could be this.
if this shows
Because of the
Amara's life on the run with Dirk, and that book proves that it happened after her supposed assassination.
That's the best thing I can come up with too. It just seems like that's jumping ahead. But you see, the thing is I think that we're gonna be jumping ahead, so that must mean we're not jumping ahead. In any case, I don't see how it could be anything else.
Please be right!
Objection!
Woo! Looks like we jumped just far enough ahead.
Like I said, if I think it's jumping ahead, then it's not jumping ahead. If I think it's not jumping ahead, then it is! The ironclad rule of the courtroom! And the way that Phoenix Wright tends to go for me, what do you want? At least I understand what's going on 90% of the time. Okay, so I presented what makes sense in terms of a direct contradiction. Except Damon's concern about this being jumping ahead is true. I don't know how to make it make sense in the larger context of this case.
But it was clearly the correct answer. Well, is the defense going to follow up its loud objection with a sound explanation?
Hey, what kind of was a sound explanation? You know, a sound explanation? That's for you, Billy.
Thank you.
Sorry. This is highly unusual, and indeed I feel somewhat guilty making this objection, and this is going to require a great deal of explanation that's not really supposed to be for public consumption, but here we are. It's not my fault. How do I put this? I believe there's a problem with Nayna's testimony.
Well, I assume because you raised an objection, but now you have to prove what the problem is.
Well, I mean, I can do that, but
Go on.
do you really want me to? Or rather, does Queen Garan really want us to?
Ah,
She asserted that she could not possibly be a spirit medium because in Khura'in, only members of the royal family can learn how to channel spirits.
I fail to see the problem in that statement, defense. Do I need to penalize you?
No, it's very true. I'm getting to it, Your Majesty. I bring that point up because it's true.
This isn't a ballroom. This is a courtroom. Stop dancing around the issue.
Naina stated an absolute falsehood, since we know that Amara is still alive. At the same time, circumstantial evidence points to Naina channeling Inga.
Do, 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 do. Like now loading appears on his head.
After all, just after she entered his private quarters, Inga came running out screaming, despite having been killed at 2 p.m. That would mean that Naina channeled Inga so to connect all the dots,
Hello.
even though supposedly only those of the royal family are capable of doing so. Ergo... Wait. Is it too late to ask for a refund on my trip down the rabbit hole? I don't want to have my head offed with. That didn't quite work out the way I wanted. Mr. Wright.
Oh, don't look at me. This is your show.
You may think I've lost my mind with this a bluff, but maybe BSG isn't completely insane. If I can at least establish the possibility, I think it'll give us the break we need.
Wait a sec. Are you going to propose what I think you are?
Yes. It's a huge risk, but I think there's a chance I can prove it. I mean, BSG figured it out like 6 episodes ago, and they are pretty dumb.
Hey!
Will the court please take a look at this photo? That's...
Oh, bother.
This photo's very existence, to say nothing of the person in it, contradicts the witness's claim that Queen Khura'in is the only remaining spirit medium in Khura'in. Oh, devil! You mustn't! Not this! Oh, but I must! Under these circumstances, the outcome of this trial depends on it. Not just the defendant's life, but Barbed Head's life and my own life depend on it. What else do you want us to do? This is the circumstance that we're in.
Because of Khura'in.
Because of Khura'in. We could have left well enough alone if it weren't for this. But you already knew that, didn't you, Your Eminence?
Will the defense please explain who is shown in the photograph?
Fortunately, when the Queen is over there not denying things and getting really mad and telling me to stop, it does kind of back up what I'm about to say, huh? The person in the photo is the previous Queen, Amara Sigatar Khura'in. Contrary to popular belief, she was never assassinated. In fact, she's very much alive.
What? But that's nonsense!
Take a good look at the law book in this photo, Your Majesty.
I figured we'd have to point it out manually.
Me too. I guess because we already pointed it out manually.
Yes, true.
The mark of the dragon branded on it could only have been placed there after Queen Amara's supposed assassination. There were no defiant dragons.
Yeah.
There was no rebellion until she had already been assassinated. Ugh!
Queen Amara's still alive!
Has the lawyer gone mad?
While I personally find it hard to believe, I will allow the defense to continue. You may proceed, defense.
Queen Amara's death was staged to keep her safe from her would-be killer. Yet, according to Dirk, she is actually being held captive somewhere.
Isn't he the accused who ran off and escaped custody?
As it turns out, I'd love to call him to the stand about this, but I don't know where he is either. But the real truth is that Queen Amara is not being held in confinement. Rather, she walks freely among us. Here, in this very courtroom today!
But how?
She's right there! Do not be deceived, Your Majesty. The red pepper is skilled in weaving plausible lies. It is the cunning lawyerly art known as bluffing.
Bluffing?
Bluffing! But knowing this, there is no need to fear his forked tongue.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong, prosecutor, because you'll be quaking in your boots soon enough. Is that so? It's my turn, Nayna. to wake you up to the truth right before your eyes. And I better not get this one wrong. Queen Amara is still very much alive and has been disguising herself as I'll be your guide!
But that's...
You...
well...
This is the simplest and cleanest explanation for everything we've covered so far. If it's true, then it lines up with
everything!
The person who killed Minister Inga. Someone with intimate knowledge of the divination seance. The medium who channeled the minister in order to mask the real time of his death. Well, that would be a good motive if she did it.
Mm-hmm.
Condense these traits into one person and you get a spirit medium of royal blood. And that person is none other than you, Nayna.
Well, you see...
Your true identity is the former Queen Amara and the killer we've been looking for all along.
What?
Have you finally lost your mind, Mr. Justice? What you say is beyond blasphemous, even in the depths of hell!
Oh my, such frightening allegations. Indeed, and absolutely ludicrous to boot. Her Eminence, Queen Amara, yet lives.
Do you suppose she could have done it? I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, everything we had to say about Khura'in all seems to ring true, but she does have an alibi.
She would have had to have gotten there and then changed into Dirk's clothes, too. No, that would have happened before then. Sorry, I'm getting my timelines mixed up.
But something like that, you know?
I suppose it's possible.
I'm not ready to...
I feel like there's more to it than that.
I'm not ready to accept it yet, but... I mean, we've got to work through this.
Yeah.
And see what she has to say.
And it's actually Miss Nayna here. You have truly gone off the deep end. Red Pepper.
You don't have to take my word for it. In fact, a certain someone can help me prove it.
Rayfa can try and do a divination seance.
Your Eminence. If Queen Amara truly is dead... I mean, I was expecting Khura'in to be the person he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
You should be able to channel her spirit. Right here, right now. Isn't that correct? You meet all the qualifications to do it, and no one can argue if it's you. I can deny it no longer. It is as you say. The lawyer speaks the truth. Nayna, the woman who stands before us, is Amara, the former queen believed to have perished 23 years ago.
Polkuka!
What on earth happened between her and Dirk?
I like how she's bringing her hands together in the prayer symbol. I just now noticed that.
Finally! We finally got Inga's real killer on the stand! Nayna, no, Amara Segatar Khura'in! Please drop the act and tell us what really happened!
Polkuka. Oh, dearie me. I guess I shouldn't have underestimated the power of youth.
I really hope it's not Amara.
She's awesome!
She's highly, highly amusing.
Well done, young hornhead.
Here it is.
Oh.
I've really been waiting for this one. Okay, the eyes had better be green now. Yes! A cocoon! And then the merges as a butterfly!
Oh my god!
It's the plumed Punisher! What the hell? Where was she wearing all those clothes?
I was getting tired of masquerading as an old woman anyway. It has been far too long since I last greeted you, good people of Khura'in. It is I, Amara Khura'in, your former queen. Queen Amara? What is going on here?
What? I didn't know this. But I stood back up very quickly. And I thought Garon's makeover was extreme. What the hell is with this family anyway?
Can it really be true? You are alive and well? It is true. I feel as if I have been called back from the Twilight Realm. I fear I have caused all of you a great deal of distress. Oh!
That laugh is so weird. Amara, I'm sorry I was unable to keep your secret any longer. I hope you can forgive me.
It is quite all right, Garon. I'm safe now. For Dirk, that blackguard who threatened my life, will be recaptured soon enough.
I figured it was something like this, that she ended up determining that it was Dirk's fault after all, but we don't know all the details.
Right. I need not conceal my identity any longer. Queen Amara! What does this all mean? I don't even know what even is anymore!
Your Majesty, you're so out of the loop.
Were you not killed in that fire 23 years ago?
Nope!
I barely escaped that blaze with my life. But though I survived, I knew that scoundrel would make further attempts on my life.
That's why you ran away with him some 7 years later or something?
Therefore, I staged my death and abdicated the throne to my dear younger sister, Garon.
She staged her death and abdicated?
Yeah.
I don't know if
Hold
that's
on.
true. Also, how freaking hyper Buddhist. That is amazing. I feel as though I'm going to be like taken in and sent to some hell or something.
No, David, don't give in. But the building of that great tomb and all the other inconsistencies with that. And disguising yourself as a lowly servant. Why would you do such a thing? Garon, I would have you explain.
Perhaps, much as Naina is being threatened with his mother,
Maybe she's in a similar situation.
maybe she's being threatened
With
with her
Naina?
own children. Naina and Rafa.
Yeah.
I wished for her to be close at hand. It was the only way I felt I could protect her. And it was the best way to hide her from the eyes of the public. It worked, after all. And she was not oppressed.
I mean, yeah?
I mean, maybe she's not Rafa's mother, but how then do you explain the significance of that picture? Rafa's reaction to it?
I would be genuinely surprised if she wasn't.
It being in Inga's safe, and Dirk's, oh, you're real good with numbers there, son. 23 years ago, yup. After all, who could conceive of Amara lowering her station to that of a servant?
Surely no one in Khura'in. She's got that right. Even Dirk thought Amara was being held captive in some far-off place.
He never even guessed she was living as a servant, right in plain sight.
I must say, a life dedicated to the servitude of others is not the least bit disagreeable. It is a quiet, humble existence, far removed from the tedium of regal duties. Ah, but those days of peace have ended.
Don't hurt me!
And it's all because of you, Hornhead.
You should consider yourself lucky if that's all this ends with.
If there is something you wish to say, then say it. Don't spray it, nincompoop.
It doesn't matter who you are. You won't escape the crime you committed. The defense moves to indict you as Justice Minister Inga's real killer. I don't know if this is true, but,
This is the next step we have to take. What's this? You would accuse Queen Amara of homicide? A Grand Priestess of Khura'ism? You can't do that!
I mean, by the time we formally indict people, that's usually correct, but not always.
She's virtually a goddess in the eyes of her people.
If you commit the crime, you'd better be ready to do the time. Be you a priest, saint, queen, or god.
I've never met such an egalitarian person.
Just because you have control of the law doesn't mean you can write away your own murder or pardon yourself. Queen Amara! In your years disguised as Naina, you would have learned about Minister Inga's disorder.
And his name.
Khura'in even said you knew. So you knew you could dress in Dirk's clothes to forge a convincing seance vision. Isn't that right?
Oh, what a curious character you are. You would label me a murderer? It is to laugh. Me, the one who the people regarded as the reincarnation of the Holy Mother herself?
You may be a grand figure in Khura'inism, but as a foreigner, you're just another suspect to me.
Well, that's certainly an angle to approach it from.
Kind of a jerk move, but you know.
It would appear your words are not in jest. Am I to suffer the sullying of my good name with accusations of murder most foul? Please, Queen Amara, forgive his impudence. Don't fire your Khura'inist lasers at him. The lawyer knows not what he speaks.
Wait a minute, what's this about Khura'inist lasers? Ah!
Fear not, good majesty, for this is the sacred hall of justice. Though I am a grand priestess, on this stand I am but a witness like any other.
That smile!
I shall face his accusations with grace and benevolence.
That smile is freaking creepy!
Your compassion overfloweth your mercifulness. Like she never opens her eyes.
Right. Well, it shows her wisdom.
Oh, young lawyer, in my benevolence, I must warn you that your assertion suffers from a tragic flaw.
There's a flaw.
Nayuda.
Yes, your mercifulness.
I like how they each have their own kind of title.
Yeah, your benevolence, your majesty, your eminence, your mercifulness.
Who was present in the tomb when the murder was discovered?
Dirk Sadmadi, Maya Fey, and the victim, Minister Inga. I see. That is a fatal flaw indeed. It appears Queen Amara couldn't possibly have gone to the tomb as Minister Inga. But why not?
Do not keep the defense waiting, Nayuda. Explain how wrong he truly is.
Yes, your mercifulness.
Oh, just call me Mom.
Her benevolence, Princess Raifa, saw Minister Inga enter the tomb around 2:30 p.m. Yet you, the defense, claim the person she saw was the minister being channeled by Queen Amara. However, if her mercifulness had channeled him and moved to the tomb...
I like how it changed from A to I.
Then once she was done channeling, Queen Amara would have re-emerged and been left stuck in the tomb. Well...
But here's the part where they hid in the coffin.
there's this sarcophagus with the curtain around it that nobody wants to be anywhere near, and it's her own sarcophagus.
Right.
Oh yeah. Had she tried to exit before you all arrived? Princess Rafa, who had been looking down upon the courtyard, would have seen her. However, her benevolence saw nothing of the sort. In conclusion, Queen Amara could not have left the tomb without being observed. Therefore, she didn't leave the tomb!
There you go!
And yet, was she there in the tomb when the murder was discovered, Defense? No. Not as far as we know, no she wasn't.
Now do you see? Your flimsy claim has been uprooted like a sapling in a flood.
No! Well, that was entertaining. Prosecutor San Marty, assume the prosecution of this case and clear your mother's good name.
Interesting!
I was wondering if they were finally going to allow him to be like, that's your mom. I mean, he knows, but it's just like, Amara's there and Nayuda's there. They haven't even had a chance to...
reconcile or...
Yeah.
She did ask him for the information, not Garan. She was just like, Nayuda, you do it.
You wish for me to take over? Yes. Prosecute your father to save your mother. How terribly tragic. What a poignant fate you bear. But bear it you must. Are you ready? This is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Eminence. And there you have it, Your Majesty. I shall watch the rest of the proceedings from the sidelines. I relinquish complete control of the Sacred Hall to your authority once more.
Why, thank you, Your Eminence.
Man, things are just really rough for the judge here. Like, the queen was here, and the former queen was here, and then the former queen's son is here, and like, the princess is here, and the leader of the rebellion is here. Well, he was.
It's been a very exciting day. Now then, Your Mercifulness, your testimony, if you please.
Okay. That's so hypnotic.
The lawyer's theory is absurd. Now I shall destroy your utterly absurd and barbarous theory.
That's not absurd, it's not barbarous.
I was not anywhere near the tomb following the murder.
You're lying.
Were your theory correct, I would have been in the tomb once I had stopped channeling. My husband Dirk is the killer, but he has fled from the sacred hall. May the Holy Mother rain judgment upon the traitor Dirk Sadmadi for his crimes. Oh, such marvelous testimony! You are truly a treasure, Your Mercifulness. This too is but by the grace of Her Holiness. No doubt my unmasking here today was her will as well. Oh my! The Holy Mother, you say?
Okay. This is a court of law, not a sermon, no matter how many religious figures are here.
Yes, surely Her Holiness has guided me to this witness stand.
That freaking slot! No!
There were no tigers in Khura'in!
No, there were no lions.
And the purity of truth.
This is terrifying! Who let the frickin' tiger into the courtroom? This is not the first time I've seen something like this in this series. So anyway!
Oh, how magnificent! Queen Amara, the Holy Mother's messenger, here on earth.
You have got to be kidding, Your Majesty! Praise be
for Queen Amara!
Blessings upon her mercifulness! Where did those animals even come from? There's a frickin' tiger. There are guys with guns who are guarding the courthouse. They let the tiger in. What are they even for?
Would you argue with the tiger?
If I had a gun and was guarding a bunch of people and could eat, yes, I would.
Now then, the defense may question the witness.
I don't want to talk to the tiger.
But remember, she is a grand priestess, so disrespect will not be tolerated.
Huh?
That means no pointing out conflicts, inconsistencies, or any other flaws in her testimony.
Well, why don't you just give me a verdict now and just save us all the trouble? No, don't do that. No, don't do that.
I love that the animals are here.
I do have to cross-examine the tiger.
I love the look on his face.
Yeah, I know. He's like a puppy dog.
Now I shall destroy your utterly absurd and barbarous theory.
How dare you call me barbarous?
Well, bobbed head, no?
That's him! My theory is utterly absurd and barbarous. Maybe it's absurd. Maybe it's barbarous. It's not both.
And high-handed, if I may say so. Nayna was right to call you putrid-minded.
You putrid lawyer.
Surely even the monkeys of Mount Pony's holy waterfalls could devise a better theory.
I bet they can't, because they can't talk because they're monkeys. Surely you can steal better insults than Nayuda's best.
Where do you think he learned it from?
Ah, what's up with all these generational? Are you just the most influential person in this country?
Yes.
I guess you got me on that one.
Now then, to all of you gathered in this sacred hall, need I remind you, I was not anywhere near the tomb following the murder. I was inside of it.
Yeah, can you say that part again?
No.
Well, maybe you were hiding inside the sarcophagus.
You mean the one that only the royal family has the key to?
After all, it does technically belong to you. I bet you'd have no trouble opening it. That's how it works, right? You have the keys to your own locked coffin?
That makes a degree of sense.
Maybe metaphorically and metaphysically to some degree, but
If I had been in there, I could not be here today. For the tomb has been under constant surveillance since the murder. I would have never been able to leave unless there was a secret passage under the tomb.
Or in the sarcophagus? Huh? I guess not. Let's not talk about this point so much right now, I guess. If I might ask, what's in that sarcophagus anyway? You're still alive, so... I'm gonna laugh if she's like, I don't know.
There is despair.
What?
Sadness, hatred, and malice.
Can you say despair, sadness, hatred, and malice with more wildlife adoring you?
Only one brave enough to see the truth hidden deep within. And then like an elephant joins in. Could discover the final hope. My continued corporeality. I don't know what that means!
What the heck is in the dang sarcophagus? You just said there's nothing in there but the sadness of the kingdom of Khura'in, and only somebody willing to confront it by opening it will see that you're not in there. But what the heck does that have to do with my question? Like, you could have just said nothing. Come on.
In other words, it's empty.
Why is there an elephant?
But no one dared to open it because they were too scared of the curse. Now, will you dispense with your theory? It is as empty as my sarcophagus. Were your theory correct, I would have been in the tomb once I had stopped channeling.
I'll admit you weren't in the tomb after the murder for now.
Very good, but that very truth refutes your theory. Even if I had channeled Minister Inga and entered the tomb,
This has got to be an important point.
the moment I ceased channeling him, I would have re-emerged at the crime scene.
Precisely. As you said yourself, Defense, Queen Amara was not there after the murder. The only living souls in the tomb at that time were Dirk Sodmati and Maya Fey.
Be it in this life or the next. There is no escaping such simple truths.
No, there has got to be another way in or out. Because, like you pointed out, Dirk's clothes.
Yeah!
I mean, how many outfits you running around with here?
She a quick change up? I guess she kind of is.
A quick change artist?
Yeah. My husband Dirk is the killer, but he has fled from this sacred hall.
There must be a reason why he had to make his escape today.
I didn't want to face my wife.
That's probably it.
A reason? Ah, perhaps.
Perhaps what?
Perhaps to conceal himself and lie in wait for another chance to claim my life.
Oi, what do you think he is?
What's this?
No, it's definitely not like that, your mercifulness. First of all, you don't really believe he's trying to kill you, do you? After all, you two ran off together after he rescued you all those years ago.
That was only because he had the audacity to claim it wasn't me. You must believe me. It was my duty as a wife to her husband.
You are lying!
To bend an ear to him, was it not? Communication after disagreement is the secret to a long and happy marriage.
Please tell me more about your long and happy marriage, where you have had communication after disagreement and thus assume that he's here to kill you. Sure, I guess. What do you think, Mr. Red?
Don't ask me! That is why I listened to Dirk. However, he didn't have a shred of evidence to support his claim. It grieves me to admit it, but my husband truly did try to murder me. That's quite enough! It's abundantly clear that Queen Amara's testimony is flawless.
Clear to whom?
Oh, do you understand now, lawyer?
This is bad. The judge isn't gonna let me cross-examine her much longer.
Is this gonna be one of those things where we only get one shot? Amara should have been in the tomb after the minister's murder, but she wasn't. I don't get it.
Could she have been hiding in the broken statue? How did she just vanish from the scene of the crime like that?
She must have murdered one of the guards and then channeled them after changing her clothes again.
I mean, she could have channeled somebody else after changing her clothes again, but she'd be naked. Or wearing Dirk's clothes. Maybe she saved Maya as Dirk. Hey, wait a minute. Dirk didn't have any memory, and there was all that weird smoke, wasn't there?
Well, there's the incense.
Wasn't it? Well, anyway.
He felt dizzy as soon as he got inside.
There's no way this isn't relevant to what's going on, but it shouldn't be possible for normal people to... For normal people, but if you can channel spirits and have a lot of knowledge, maybe...
Maybe what?
Your Majesty, I think I can explain why Queen Amara wasn't there in the tomb after the murder.
Very well, Defense. Do explain.
Oh! Let's think about this. If it's really not the sarcophagus, and so be it. I don't know about that broken statue, but she's not wearing the Tanuki suit.
Hit down and B and turn into a statue.
What happens to your blood when you channel? I mean, this is obviously not what we need right now.
Oh my god. Oh no. Daymon?
Yeah?
When did Nayna appear? After Dirk went away. Dirk, who's dying of an illness. What if Dirk is in the coffin? And every time we've seen him after he went into the coffin, it was Amara channeling him.
I mean, he was basically saying, I ain't gonna make it like 15 more minutes, yo. And wants to make it through his trial, and Nayna was gone, and... So what you're saying is that Dirk died in the tomb and has been channeled since then?
Yes!
Well, that's certainly a far cry from what happens to your blood when you channel, but in any case, this still isn't what we're looking for.
That's true, that's true.
I believe it was accomplished through a method only she's capable of. After all, if you can channel, by using this special method, it would be possible for her to literally disappear.
Well, don't keep us waiting.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's hear it.
I guess that ability to jump to conclusions of yours has jumped to a pretty interesting one, but that would explain it, wouldn't it? Because she would be able to leave the tomb by being escorted out.
That's correct.
As Dirk, after having been arrested.
How did Queen Amara disappear from the tomb?
Oh,
She clung to the ceiling
Yeah.
like a ninja.
All she had to do was channel someone. Then she could easily disappear from the scene of the crime. After all, she would literally be someone else. Now that person would probably be very confused, but
Why, I believe that actually makes sense.
there's a limited number of people it could be. What do you have to say to that, Queen Amara?
You believe that I, a grand priestess, would use the sacred power of spirit channeling to commit murder? Uh-oh. Oh!
Yeah. Oh, my life force just was reduced. What the?
Mercy, your mercifulness!
No, you killed the judge!
How dare you spew such vile blasphemy, defense?
Your Majesty!
You will retract your last statement or face immediate execution.
Ah, I don't know what's worse, being faced with random execution because these people get so dang cowering between the... or trying to find a place to stop!
No, good Majesty. It is quite all right. Khura'in also teaches that we must respond at all times with reasoned principle.
Hence the waves of evil and malice.
And lightning bolts. Therefore, I shall offer a measured response to this blasphemous accusation.
You have something to counter with?
Yes, the end of the episode.
Well, I can't do anything about that now.